Hi everyone, welcome to Create with Chris. I'm Chris Haughey, and today we are going to be talking about how to paint Santa beards really easily. Everyone, Lindsay is with us today and she's going to be doing the monitoring. So if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share and we'll answer all that we can. Hope you all had a good Easter. Do we have people jumping on, Lindsay?
There are people joining us. I haven't said anything yet, but we've got a few watching.
It's early in a lot of places in the country. In Ohio here, it's 10 o'clock, beautiful spring day. Hope you have a lot of spring flowers and signs of spring. I don't know about you, but it's good to hear the birds singing again. This is one thing I always miss in the winter time. It's always kind of the key that spring is just around the corner. Hopefully we're through the worst of the weather and snow. So I think that's over with. Anything going on, Lindsay?
Not really. Diane Nelson has joined us. Welcome.
Hi, Diane.
And today, with your beard, your beard, yeah. While Chris is painting the beard, she's going to be focusing on her incredible comb brush. And I put the link in the chat there on the brush, and we have a little bit of a special going on with it for the next week.
Okay, so make sure you take advantage of that because I don't think we've ever had it that low, have we?
No, and I put a graphic up. From now through next Tuesday at the end of the day, Eastern time, it is going to be only $6.56.
That's a
So
good
that's
deal.
an additional 25% off our normal low price. And you don't have to do anything. The price has changed, so be sure to pick one of those up because you need this brush.
Yeah, and I know it's not a brush that you use every time you paint, but believe me, when you want to do something that needs a comb or some people call it a rake brush, it is truly a brush that is super handy and it's going to streamline and make it look better. And it's just amazing. Incredible. The incredible comb.
And welcome to Monica from Long Island, New York. She's watching while working. We won't tell.
No.
And Trevor. And then we have Glenda joining us from Indiana.
Welcome, welcome.
And Diane said that's an amazing sale. Thank you. Yes, that it really won't. We usually don't have it that cheap, but we just wanted to. It's such a great brush, and we really haven't talked about it much, honestly. But it is a fantastic brush, and it's not just for mustaches and beards.
Last week we did feathers, but there's also a YouTube video that shows a lot of different ways to use the brake brush, comb brush. And so if you haven't checked that out, and be sure to go on our YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos on there that can be very helpful.
Kim has joined us from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Kim.
All right, we will go ahead and flip the camera. You want to get started?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay.
All right. For those not familiar with the comb brush, this is my incredible comb. And I had this designed. The first one I designed was just like flat across the end. But with it being flat across the end, there were so many things that was just awkward to create. And I wanted a brush that was a little more versatile. And so I had it shaped like a filbert. It's just perfect. This is very durable and well made. So it takes a lot of, I don't want to say abuse, but I can really fan it out. And you can see those nice little bristles. And that's what we're going to be honing in on. And last week we did the feathers and someone mentioned, do you use that to do Santa beards? And I thought, well, that would be a really good technique to share. So if there are techniques that you're interested in and wondering about, please put them in the comments below because we look at everything and we can use it for upcoming future videos.
Or they can also drop us an email. And because I see them and then I let Chris know and I just jot down the ideas and then we'll put them in future lives. That's another way to do it too. So
lots of ways to get a hold of us. Okay, so there's different ways to create the beards, but I'm going to just keep it really basic and simple today. I'm going to use white paint. Normally when I do a beard, I'll use a couple different colors. And by that, I mean, if I'm doing beards with more of a brown tone, I will use maybe like a middle tan color and then a lighter color and then maybe even white on top of that. So we'll just keep it simple because this is the technique that creates the beard. So once you master the technique, adding the little elements of different colors and shading and whatnot is something you can play around with and really hone in on your skills. I did dampen my brush, and then I'll just lay it on my paper towel to pull out some of the moisture. I want this paint to be very loose and very thin. When I load the brush, I'm going to take and just kind of get the bristles in there and fan them out, because if my brush looks like this, what you see is what you're going to get. So I'm just going to fan it out a little more. I want to see all those little divided bristles. And that's what's going to create that look of the hair. Just going to start out with a simple beard. I'm going to start and just pull it down. Once it starts to run out of paint, I need to reload it, because if I press down, it's just going to be a solid load of paint. So I'm picking up a little more moisture in my brush, loading that brush, and I really work that brush in there. And they always say don't get paint in the ferrule, which is a good thing to caution, but what you want to really do is not let the paint dry in the ferrule. So I'm just really working that in. I want these bristles to be very coated with paint, but I'm not going to let it dry. So I can just go in there, and I'm allowing that background to work for me. Now, if I were working with a different color background, I may go in and base coat that beard a lighter shade of tan, just so that I can get this little bit of color. I want this to be a little rounded beard. So I'm just going to start on the end and pull some up and get that look. And then I can go in and just very lightly pull those bristles down. To do the mustache, just going to start up here and pull it out. And start up there and pull it out.
Hi, Becky. She is using her incredible comb brush. It's a 1/2 inch, and we do have a special on it for the next week. It's only $6.56 right now, and I've put that link in the chat.
And I'm just kind of flipping the ends up so I can go down and up. And you get that little bit of a flip on there. So this is one style of beard.
Barton said, I always have such a hard time with beards when doing the fine hair or when the beard swirls.
The trick, probably, I would say the secret to is just a little bit of paint, a light touch, and many layers. And I think as decorative painters, often we like to really load the brush up and give a nice coverage. But when you want to achieve this look of fine hairs, you just really need to have a light touch. And I can go back and you can see I can really hone that in and create that look of beards. This side's a little bit solid, but I can go back and very lightly add that second layer, third layer, and flip that up and see how it becomes more hairy. I was trying to find the right word. I told Lindsay, I said, I'm really tired today. I'm using one syllable to explain everything. That's just basically a simple beard. Let's go into another one. And if you paint, what's his name? Like a wizard, or you want a long flowing beard.
Like a swirly beard?
Yeah. Long beard. Just going to do the same thing and just pull it down.
You're thinking Dumbledore from Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of wizardry.
Gandalf the Grey, yes.
And just wiggle it down. So when you have a longer beard, you don't have to be everyone the same. It just kind of curves all the way down.
And this brush is doing a lot of the work, right? Most of the work.
It is. I'm just kind of letting it flow. And it gets a little bit dry and starts to drag. I know I need to reload and add more moisture on my brush. And I can go down here and I can really flip this end up. I'm going to go around this way, or maybe not. On this one, if I want like the long handlebar mustache, I'm just kind of going on the side of the brush. So I'm starting out on the round flat of the brush. And then I'm coming down on the tip. And you can see how as I start out and then I kind of go, is that vertical? Start out horizontal and then just go vertical. I can create that look of long hairs going down. And just go back and just play around with it. Now, if it becomes too solid and too dark, what do they call that in your hair? If you want to bring out the dark color, you do the reverse highlights.
Highlights? I don't know.
So if you have it too solid, you could go back in with a dark color and go over it, and it creates more of the shadowing effect. Okay, so that's a second kind of beard. And then we have the, what would you call this? The, just kind of a broom straw beard, I don't know.
Unkempt.
My kids would have called it the scary beard, Mom. And I'm just sweeping it out.
Actually, it does look like a broom.
Again, it is good for brooms.
Yeah.
It's such a very light touch. And again, I need to pay attention to my bristles. If my brush is too solid, I'm going to get a more solid instead of a light little fluff. And I can do layers, or I can just really make it nice and thick and long. And you can do little short layers. Now for this mustache, I'm just going to go, just pull it down.
Becky said an untrimmed beard.
Thank you, Becky, you're right. So I'm just going to stop right there for now. And we're going to switch a little bit of gears here. This is just the basic kind of simple approach to creating the beards. And I did this rather quickly, so if you slow down and take your time, you'll get even better results. But sometimes if you do just the simple strokes, it sometimes is just a better result because you're not getting overloaded with paint. I am picking up my 1/2 inch angle. I thought I wanted a 3/8. I'm going to go with a 1/2 inch angle. And I've picked up light cinnamon. Now, beards can be all colors. You can do with the gray tones, the brown tones, the blue tones, sticking with brown tones. And I've picked up just a hint of light cinnamon. And I want to just add a little bit of shading. So I'm going to scoop it under the mustache. You see how I clean that up? But instead of just doing a smooth float, I'm going to take the toe of my brush and just pull that chisel edge down and see how it blends into the hairs of the beard. And I'll also do just a hint around the middle of the beard. And even though that looked a little bit rough, now it's starting to really become a lot better looking. So there's that smooth beard. We'll do the Dumbledore beard. And I am going to scoop it right under that mustache and pull it down. I've got a little bit of a wiggle flow going on here, so I'll just kind of follow the contour of that beard. And then also on the mustache. See how that fills that in so nicely. Even though this is quick and easy, still need to take time to do the little details that make it okay to wow. And on this little beard, just gonna kind of pop it up under there. And I'm just using toe of my brush just to pull that down. There's not even much of a float.
Sylvie says it's such a big difference with the shading.
Shading is amazing. I always say, oh, this is my favorite part, and it is. I think I still want to kind of divide this because he has a little bit of a lip somewhere in there. So we'll just put a little bit of, not so much two sections, but where it kind of goes in, where his lip is. So now that we have that on there, I am going to go back with just a little more Snow White. And my little bit of, see that nice.
And don't be afraid to load this brush because Jen was really hard on it and it did not hurt this brush loading it. I mean,
this is incredible. It's a very, very durable brush. It's designed to take a lot of pressure. And you don't want to scrub it, but boy, you can really, load it up and fan it out. And I have tried using fan brushes. I know people use fan brushes for beards. It's very awkward for me. Just going to go in and start at the bottom and pull some of that up. A little bit more paint. And if my shading, see how that blends in that shading so nicely. So what I've done is I've added my shading, but now I'm kind of pushing it back just a little bit. Same thing here. Look how that took that from being dark to just really nice. Look at that little beard. We'll do the same thing over here. Just gonna start. And see where it's dark right here? I push down really hard on my brush. So light, even touch. But I'm not worried about that because I can go back and blend it in. This beard's a little bit thin, so just add that in there. This little. I wanted that just a little more rounded. So I'm letting the filbert of the brush create that little rounded end of the mustache. I want that just a little more rounded right in there. And so you can go in and touch up certain areas and allow that to just really flow and wiggle. On this one, just good. And you know, if you don't have enough moisture on your brush, you're not going to get those long flowing strokes. There we go. So that's basically the creation of the beard and the mustache in a nutshell. Now I can go back with my Epic script liner, and this is the 18-aught. Super, if you're looking for a good liner brush, it's longer than a liner, shorter than a script, but it has really good control. So now I can go in, and if I'm not happy with the shape of it, I can just add those little lines, and it's not going to take much. Look at that. What a difference this side looks from that side. Just adding those little bits of definition.
Bonnie's joined us from Oklahoma City.
Oh, hi, Bonnie.
And she says, love watching your style. And Catherine Kerr's here.
Hi, Catherine.
And Margot has joined us, and she says she loves your Santas.
Oh, thank you. And just...
Cindy says that she loves seeing how you use your brushes.
Thank you, Cindy. I do use my brushes just a little bit different. I like to play around, and I encourage you to play around, because just because you've been taught to use the brush a certain way doesn't mean there's not other ways to expand that brush into different areas that just add a lot of fun. I think painting should be fun, and it just really adds a lot of versatility. Okay, my mustache is just a little uneven. Wasn't too worried about it. I've got the basic shape, but now I can go in and just push. Look, I only put one stroke in, and look what a difference that's made. And I'm going to just really define this bottom edge of the mustache and add that little bit of curve to it. And again, you need to really be able to do a nice long stroke. This brush looks like pigtails. I just saw that. This brush is holds a lot of paint. If it's loaded correctly, I can go down the whole side.
So Cindy said she can't wait to try using a filbert to make a beard.
You know, Cindy, I did not think I would like a filbert, but after I tried different styles when I was having the brush created, this filbert is just so ideal, so ideal. I think you'll love it.
Bonnie says she likes the middle one the best.
Isn't that fun?
It's a wizard beard.
Yeah. I know gnomes were really hot for a long time, and I think I've used this for gnome beards. But Santa has nice long beard. And you can just flip this little end out, and play around with it.
It really does look like pigtails.
Now that you've looked at it, yeah. And this one, we'll just shape that up. Round that up. And you can see I'm not adding a lot, just a few little touches, but that cleans that all up.
Diane says the fact that you offer techniques for using the brushes in different ways is awesome. And this might be something we could do a little more often, is take your brushes and show different things you can do with them other than the standard techniques, you know?
So when I'm painting, I think, oh, this is so much work. There has to be a better way. And so this is where I start to think I can definitely figure out a better way to do something. So if you're struggling with a technique, take a look at what you're doing, and there might be a better way. And if there is, oh, by all means, share it.
Well, and again, if you're struggling with something and you would like advice or help, just drop us an email or a comment on a video. I mean, we do read everything, and we'll note that for future lives. Because you know, Chris is always looking. She loves to do these lives and loves helping. So yeah, just definitely drop us a line, and we'll look into touching on that in a future live.
Yeah, if I can make your life easier and mine too, definitely.
You know what else I was thinking? That third one kind of looks like a hula skirt.
Well, there you go. You can do hula skirts. And this is what, when you play around, you kind of get ideas on different things that you can do with the brushes, and different elements that you can create. So that's pretty much basically how you can create Santa beards. Different styles, very easily with the rake or the incredible comb. It's an amazing brush. It's going to streamline a lot of your painting. And you can see this is just a white beard with a little bit of the light cinnamon shading. But think about adding layers to that of color and building it up. And I have some samples. Now, is this still on there? I'll leave that up there.
Bonnie says she usually uses warm white for the first layer, then snow white to make the top.
And that's really nice. That's a good idea because warm white is a tad more opaque. It's just a little bit of a stronger, darker. And then when you add the white on there, it just creates a beautiful highlight. And it's hard to highlight white, but if you do start out with the warm white and you put white over it, it's just really brightens it up and helps it to become very dimensional.
And again, if you're just joining us, we're having a lot of people join us. Chris, these beards were done with Chris's incredible comb brush, 1/2 inch. And we do have a special for the next week. It's actually the cheapest it's ever been. It's $6.56. And if you just add that to your card, the price is already that. But yeah, it really is a very versatile brush, not just beards. Last week, Chris did feathers with it. You could do grass.
Foliage, flowers, they make beautiful spike flowers, waterfall, ripples in the water. I mean, it's just incredible. You can do so many different things with it. So I wanted to show different styles of beards. This one is more like this one, except I did a smaller mustache. Now, obviously, I can't use this brush to do the mustache, but look at the little beard. I just put those little lines in there. Super easy. I did start out with a very dark gray on this beard. It is shaded and shaded with Payne's gray. So I get a totally different look than using the brown tones or the warmer tones. This beard is created with a charcoal gray shading, and you can see the colors in that. This one's a little more straight and probably leans more toward this one. The mustache kind of flips out. And I did use the charcoal gray, has a lot of green in it. So I did a little bit of green shading, but it has a lot of green shading in the overall of the design. This one's kind of a mix between these two. And this has aqua sky in it. That's just when I started throwing a little bit of aqua sky in to add just another element. But I've shaded it with burnt umber, a little bit of aqua sky. So it's bringing those cool blue tones into it. Even put some aqua sky on the bottom of his mustache. This is great for Uncle Sam's. And I did a different kind of a mustache on this one. I did just different layers. So it's basically this with some different layers to it. And then this one is the kind of the droopy mustache. And this was done with more of the gray tones. This one's more of the blue tones. And you can see the difference between those two. This one is pretty much all gray. This is that, what we call it, a broom beard. No mustache, just a big old fat beard. And this has a lot of different colors and it has gray in it, but then I also put the brown shading in there just to give a little more contrast. And that's what you're always looking for, contrast. If it starts to blend in, either brighten it so it stands out or deepen it so you have that contrast. So I think that's pretty much the beards in a nutshell. Any questions, Lindsay?
No, Eileen said she likes to do her beards with a dark gray base.
That is, and I think I have one with a dark gray base. I forget which one it was. Yeah, if you start with a dark base, and basically the brown was my dark base, you can build it up and it creates those beautiful layers. And don't try to add heavy layers, light layers, because if it becomes too light, I can always go back and do that reverse highlighting where you go in with your darker color and then kind of bring those shading and highlights back into balance. Keep it simple, those light layers, and it's much easier to see the progress and see how full and thick it becomes. When you first start out, it always looks super thin. It's hard to stop, but you need to stop, let it dry, and then put the next layer on. Let it build up. Otherwise, it gets real thick and heavy, and it becomes more solid as opposed to keeping it light and kind of soft and fluffy.
For those of you that are joining us on Facebook, Facebook, just so you know, Facebook does not allow us to keep our videos for longer than 30 days anymore. And we're just trying to mention this in all the videos. So if you like to go back and refer to Chris's videos, you can do so on our YouTube channel. They don't go away on YouTube. We have all the videos back to the beginning when we have those old videos where we were explaining different products and stuff, but everything is on our YouTube channel. It is free. It does not cost to subscribe. Give us a like and what's it called?
Thumbs
the
up.
bell.
Hit the bell, thumbs up.
Hit the bell, thumbs up, and then you'll be notified when we go live, when Chris is live. Chris usually, if she's live, she'll do it on a Tuesday. She typically does videos no more than twice a week. And then Jen and I are live on Wednesdays. But for those of you on Facebook, I highly recommend going to your YouTube channel because, again, Facebook is getting rid of live videos after 30 days. So that way you have all these back videos you can refer to. So.
And there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of technique information. There's full length like tutorials on the complete project and classes. So it's a very valuable resource. And I know some people are afraid to sign up or subscribe, but it's totally free and you're not committed to anything and you don't get a bunch of advertising or that type of thing. It's just a benefit to let you know when the videos are coming up.
Glenda says she loves your brush demos. It really helps to see the different ways we can use them instead of just a typical use.
Okay, so if there's something that you're curious about, please drop it in the comments below, or as Lindsay said, just email us and let us know. And if you're not subscribed to Cupboard Distributing's newsletter, that's another resource that will keep you informed on what's going on.
And real quick, before we wind up, in addition to, I'm going to show this again, the brush being on sale through next week. It's again $6.56, and you don't need a coupon code or anything for that. We also have a flash sale for today only on No Tricks, Just Treats bundle.
It's a really good deal.
This is a steal, and it's amazing that Jen didn't get fired for this. So the pattern itself on a normal day is $8.50. You're paying $8.95. You're getting the pattern, the wood, and the stencil. So you're getting the wood and the stencil for 45 cents.
That's a good deal.
And this is a really, really cute pattern. And Jen and I were talking about this. We wish you would we want you to do Christmas ones on that surface too.
Oh, okay.
So put that in your head. But yeah, this is today only. This ends tonight, 11:59 p.m. And then one more thing, and then I'll shut up. This is Chris's latest design, a snail's tail. He's just a happy little snail. on his toadstool. There is a bundle available. This is one of the newest. And there is also a YouTube tutorial available on our channel.
Yeah, and that's from start to finish.
Yeah, it's a start to finish. And so you could get this project and paint along with Chris if you would like to. So.
And somebody was asking about the mushroom. Is there really a red top mushroom with white spots on it? And yes, there is. So yeah, I was surprised. I didn't realize. I thought
there
that was
is in real life and in video game life.
okay.
Lilibeth from El Salvador has joined us.
Wow.
She says, could you please teach us how to make the texture for the white part in the Santa hat? We can touch on that in a future video.
That would be great.
Yeah,
sure.
So we will put that on our list, Lilibeth, and I'm assuming you're talking about the fur on the Santa hat. Is that
the fluffy brim,
the fluffy fur on the Santa hat? But we will make a note of that, and we will touch base on that in a future live.
Okay.
So
good suggestion.
Now, does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, anything? And as always, you can always email us. This is my email, info@cdwood.com. It comes straight to me. Chris sits behind me, and if I just turn around and tell her things. So,
Lindsay's my info center. So if you
that's why it says info.
That's right. She has all the answers.
All right, let me switch the camera so we can. There you go.
Okay, so I want to thank you for joining us today. Appreciate all your comments and questions. If you have anything else, just put them in the link below or in the section below, and we always take a peek at that. Anything else?
No, everyone's saying thank you for the demo. And Lilibeth did say yes, the fluffy part.
Okay, we will.
So we'll add that to our list, and we'll touch on that in the future.
Well, thank you again for joining us today. We look forward to our next painting adventure together. And remember, a little bit of paint makes a big difference. Bye-bye.